Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods. Monday, June 22nd, 2020, and today is the day. We are here at the building department. We have check in hand. We're going to go ahead and pick up the permit today, and then we are also going to go and spend a little bit more money. Or are we? Alright, so we got the building permit. Pretty straightforward. I gave them a check, they gave me a receipt, they gave me the permit, and I was out of there. All joking aside about not spending money today, no plug to Menards, but that is where we're buying most of our building materials from. We are going with Fox blocks, and they supply them for the ICFs, so it's easy to go someplace local and pick them up. It also doesn't hurt with them always having that 11% off sale. I don't know if you can get them elsewhere cheaper that would always be at that 11% off price, but it's, like I said, it's easy to just go there and pick up everything. So by not spending a lot of money today, so far we've spent at least over $10,000 just on the ICF blocks alone. So when you get these rebate forms back, we've got over $1,000 to spend today. So we need to go and pick up all of the rebar for the footers and for the vertical rebar coming up out of the footers where the ICF blocks will go down over top of. We're going to make sure we have enough wood for all of the forms and make sure that we have enough spikes for all of the forms to be attached to. And then we're also going to put some furring strips attaching each side so that way they don't bow out or anything and keeps them aligned. So after we get all these supplies here, we should have everything that we need. But right now we're at my storage facility. We're going to head in there right now and show you what we've got and why I even have a storage facility. Alright, so here we are at the storage facility. The reason why we have this storage facility is because every time we got paid or there were sales, we went ahead and bought a bunch of building material for what we could afford. Obviously, we're paying a monthly price for the storage facility, so anything that we were saving is pretty much out the window. But the main reason why we have this is because after we cut down some ash trees and some maple trees on our property where the house is going to go, and obviously all the ash trees pretty much in the country are dead from the beetles that ate them, we went and had some timber beams milled up. If you take a look down here, most storage facilities are nothing but a tin can. And basically we got these timber beams in here so that they're out of the weather instead of just sitting and getting wet and holding moisture, and two, these storage facilities just become absolute sweat boxes in the summertime. So basically it's almost like these storage facilities are basically like a free kiln. These are going to dry out a lot faster because they get so hot in here when the sun is beating down on the roof, which I do see house wrap up there, but there's no insulation on this roof. So sun's beating down. This storage facility is probably 130, 140 degrees in the middle of summer. So these things are going to dry out a heck of a lot faster. So that way when we go to install them, we're not going to have to worry about that much warping or cracking or moving, so that when we have them sitting on each other, we don't develop gaps. So that was the main reason for this storage facility. Again, I know we've bought stuff, we've tried to save money by pre-buying it, but we are paying a monthly price for the storage facility. But really, it's almost like this stuff here is free. I'm just paying the $100 a month basically to have these things out of the weather and to basically be kiln dried. This is what we've had cut so far. In the house, none of these beams are going to be structural. They're just for looks, but they are real. They're ours, and we didn't have to pay hardly anything for them. This main beam, for example, is almost, I believe, 11 inches in height and 7 inches wide. To find something like that from a old barn or something, you're probably going to pay $30, $40, $50 a foot. We had a local guy named Mark. I'll go ahead and link his info in the description, but he's got a portable sawmill. Brought it out to the property, we loaded everything up, he cut these, and the price was phenomenal. I even paid him a bonus, and I went ahead and paid for lunch and drinks that day. So the way these beams are going to work is we've got that main beam is going to split the kitchen ceiling from the living room ceiling. It's going to run all the way down. We've got 2 posts that are going to sit on each side to support the main beam. And then we've got 3 other beams that are going to go from the main beam, and they're going to go over on top of the kitchen ceiling. So again, they're not structural, they're just there for looks, but it'll look like the entire kitchen and that part of the house is being held up by timber frames. So if we take a look back in here, we've also been buying all of our Simpson strong ties. We've got all of our nails, extra brackets, and then again, more ICF blocks. If you notice these ones, these look a little bit weird. These are the taper blocks. These are the ones that are going from 6 inches and then tapering out. And these are going to be the last row of the garage and the last row of the house. And the reason why they taper out is, yes, you are losing insulation, but you're gaining that much more concrete. So our Simpson plates, as they sit in here for the porch and as they sit in here for the floor joists, you've got that much more concrete that are going to lock onto those Simpson plates, and that way they can't move or go anywhere. Along with the taper blocks in here, we also have all of the corners, and we have also all of the T-blocks. The T-blocks are the ones that are going to be where the house is going down the back and the front wall. They need to turn then out and meet each other in the middle, where the garage wall and the house wall are going to be one. So you have to have that T, so it's one basic all monolithic pour. So the only reason why we're in here today is we did buy a bunch of the 2x10 forms. We didn't buy enough when we originally bought them, so we're going to go ahead and count these up right now and then go to the store and finish buying the rest. That way we have enough for all of the forms, for the footers, and for the footer piers where the main beam posts are going to go. All right, so it looks like we've got 44 2x10s. We're gonna go to the store, finish buying those. We're gonna go ahead and get all of the rebar again for the footers and the rebar that comes up vertically that sit in the wall, so that the footer is now connected to the wall. And we're gonna go ahead and get enough stakes to go ahead and put all those 2x10s on the ground so they obviously don't fall over. So we're gonna head to the store right now, use that gift receipt, and hopefully we don't have to pay a dime today. So quick detour before we head over to Menards. I forgot we got to stop by Home Depot. Home Depot is the only place that carries the Simpson Strong Tie brand of stuff. It's what our engineer spec'd out, that he wanted to go with the Simpson brand, but it's actually not a bad thing, because right here in Ohio, close to our house and close to our local Home Depot, there's a Simpson manufacturing plant. So when we place a large order for all of the ICF type items and hangers and stuff, they actually get shipped here within like a day or two, which is great for the economy. You're keeping your neighbors and everybody in business, and I think they're a great product and they work well. Now, unfortunately, we do have to order them. I don't think any Home Depot is going to have them available for a couple reasons. One, some of the stuff that we're using is for ICF only. Now, the joist hangers, those can be used by anybody for anything, but that's also a different size. So our joist hangers, for example, we're using an engineered I-beam, and they're 14 inches tall. The engineered I-beams that we're going with are 2.5 inches wide, that use an LVL built-up plate, I believe around 1.5 inches thick. Then they use the OSB webbing, and then another LVL top plate that's 1.5 inches. That's not a joist that someone's just going to carry. Just again, like, ICF is not a popular thing around here, so they're not just going to have a bunch of ICF brackets and stuff in stock, so you have to place an order for everything. Again, keeping everything local and giving money to people for doing a great job and keeping the economy going is great, especially when you have a guy like Mark. Mark was very enthusiastic. He's obviously paid for his own portable sawmill to bring it out to your property, but he's not just coming out to your property and doing a job. He actually likes doing it. He was extremely enthusiastic about it. He's happy about hearing me that I'm starting to build the house finally. We're actually going to have a little bit more done. He's going to come out here soon. We've got a couple more dead ash and maple. Hopefully we can get it all out of the ash, because ash is a harder wood, and we're actually going to make the treads going down to the basement for our stairs. So those are going to be custom sizes. We're going to try and make them as thick as possible, as wide as possible, and we're probably looking at least 4.5 feet. So that way anything that you have to go down into the basement will be no problem getting down there. So hopefully we'll have a future video of him coming out while we mill those up. But again, having a guy that just seems passionate about his job, who's actually happy to be there and wanting to do it, even though it's like 90 degrees in the middle of summer, and to see him work hard for him, great guy. And if you need stuff like that done, I encourage you to get onto your local Facebook or give a shout out or find somebody out there that, again, is receptive with, yeah, oh yeah, I want to come out there and do that. These are gonna be awesome. They're so great. As opposed to someone who just calls you back or doesn't call you back or doesn't email you back, which is the whole point of why we're building our own house. We had 9 builders that we looked at. 1 or 2 of them were pretty enthusiastic, but after like 3 months, they can't even give you a call back and be like, hey, 2,000 square foot house, it's gonna run about, $200,000. You can't even get someone to respond to you in that way. Why do business with them? Mark had a form that I filled out with all my length, width, and heights and what I was going, and he had a quote before he ever even came out to the house and looked at what we did. And he stayed 100% on par with that quote. So I encourage you, if you're looking to have something custom done, if you can't do it yourself, do your research, get a rapport built with somebody and see how it's gonna be, because you're gonna be mad or not happy in the long run if there's someone that's just like, I just do this as a 9 to 5, it's what I do, as opposed to somebody who actually seems passionate about doing it. And they are out there. They're probably limited, seeing how it is we went through 9 builders and I'm gonna be the builder. But again, just try and get out there and see what you guys can do so that you can be happy and get what you want from someone who actually wants to give it to you. All right, so we made it to Menards, and one thing I want to bring up about the big box stores, even like Home Depot, is you got to realize that yes, they're big box stores, but they do have good prices on stuff. For example, Menards may always have the 11% off sale, but Home Depot has the bulk pricing, meaning that when something sits on the shelf too long and they put a bulk price, let's say you buy 50 sheets of drywall or more, the price significantly drops. They're doing that to get rid of inventory. But if you need something that day and it's not readily available, go up to the pro contractor counter. Just because you're not a pro or you're not a contractor doesn't mean they're not going to take your order. And what they do is they put it out to a bid. If you need 50 sheets of drywall, they'll find out that this place is going to offer you 50 sheets of drywall for $5 when in the store it may cost $6. Well, someone else may come along and say, I'll give him 50 sheets of drywall for only $4.50. And then Home Depot is going to call you and say, hey, your bid went out. The best price that you can get on this is $4.50, and you can go ahead and place the order. So don't be afraid to go up there if you do have a bulk item or a large ticket item that you need to get. A perfect example is the Simpson brackets that I just bought. Those retail for over $12 a piece. The last time I bought them, I ordered over 46 at a time, and the price went down to like $9. That's a huge savings on something that you need when you need so many of them. So again, don't be afraid to just go up there and try and find the best price, because even a big box store will give you a good price if you need it and they have it available. So unfortunately, we do have to go to another Menards. Apparently, when you're building an ICF house made of nothing but concrete and rebar, you pretty much buy stores completely out of their rebar and other building materials. Who knew? All right, so we made it back home from Menards and Home Depot. We got a pretty good load here. Probably looking at least a couple thousand pounds. We picked up several more of the 2x10s. We still have 44 in storage that I showed you earlier, and then we went ahead and picked up all the rebar. That rebar there is only for the footer. Basically, Will, the engineer, has it spec'd out that the rebar needs to be number 5, 3 abreast, with a 38-inch overlap, and that'll go all the way around the perimeter of the footers and down the wall that splits the garage and the house. The number 4 rebar that I bought is basically going to act as J-loops. We figured out that we're going to go about 4.5 inches down, since we have a 9.5 inch footer thickness, and then it's going to go over about 9.5 inches. And then it's going to stick above the concrete, whatever's left over, about 33 inches or something. So that'll be enough that the footer rebar is connected to the footer, comes up and goes in the first 2 rows of ICF blocks. He also has them rotating every single time, and those are 36 inches on center. So as you go down the footer, every 36 inches, you'll have a vertical rebar sticking up, and then you'll have a J-bolt basically going this way, and then this way, then this way, and so forth all the way down. I've got some saw horses over here that will probably put the 2x10s on. The rebar I'm probably just going to throw on the ground. We do have to unload the storage shed. Obviously, we got to get those 2x10s over here. We don't have to take everything out. The ICF blocks aren't going to get built, obviously, right away. Obviously, we have to pour the concrete. That has to harden. So we're looking at probably setting the ICF blocks within, I would say, probably 2 weeks. Obviously, this Friday, we're breaking ground. It's going to take several days to set up all the forms and get everything nice and level. Then, whenever I make the call to the concrete company, when they can get out and pour with a pumper truck, since we're going such long distances and obviously you're going down in a hole, and then that then takes a week to harden, and then we can start forming up and building the ICF block. So a lot of that can just stay in storage still. No sense of bringing it out here and getting it wet and getting the white foam sun faded, because ICF blocks do fade kind of a nasty yellow. So before you put on any waterproofing and stuff like that, you usually just get it like a metal wire brush and scrape it up a little bit and get all of that oxidation off, and then you can go ahead and waterproof and finish everything off for the basement or for whatever is below grade. Let's go ahead and get all this stuff unloaded. All right, so that's tiring. My number 4 rebar, I'm actually gonna leave on here. Might as well just bring the chop saw out here, go ahead and cut those into the 4-foot lengths that I need. And that way I don't have to move them all in one big sheet. But we can go ahead and set them down here, ready for the footers. And again, those are gonna be the J-loops that connect the footer up into the basement ICF wall and the garage foundation walls. All right, so we got the chop saw all set up. I went ahead and put it exactly at 4 feet where you can put the rebar through it. It goes ahead and touches this metal support on the trailer, so that way we can get consistent 4-foot cuts every time. We're gonna do a test run, cut one of them, then we're gonna see exactly how we're gonna bend that 9.5 inches. All right, so it took me 3 tries, but if I go ahead and take this rebar bender that I bought, stick it in one of the holes on the trailer, go about 2 inches below where the trailer is, and then bend it down to a 90. It gives me exactly 9.5 inches and exactly where I want to be. Five down, only 95 more to go. I don't know about you guys, but I hate repetition. Let's go ahead and see if we can at least start doing 3 at a time. Alright guys, that's going to wrap this video up. I am tired, the mosquitoes are coming out, and I am hungry. We will catch you guys on the next one.